Good morning. So, our topic for today is cellular transport mechanism. For our lesson objectives, describe the structural component of the cell membrane, relate the structure and composition of the cell to its function, explain transport mechanism in cells, such as diffusion, osmosis, facilitated diffusion, and active transport, differentiate exocytosis and endocytosis. We have here some vocabulary words. Number one, we have the concentration gradient. It is a physical space where there is a range of concentration of a single substance. So it involves solute and solution that the concentration comes from higher to lower concentration of solute. Solute are particles that are embedded or nasa solution. Solution is the combination of water or the solvent and the solute. Okay. Equilibrium is when the concentration is equal throughout the space. So meaning to say, from inside of the cell and outside of the cell membrane. The concentration should always be equal to have equilibrium. Selective permeability, on the other hand, is the characteristic of the cell membrane which allows it to control what can go in and out of the cell. Selective, so it shows what comes in or goes out of the cell. So this is the cell membrane structure. As you can see, there are different structure embedded. This is the whole structure, or this is the cell membrane, and the plant cell, animal cell, and bacterial cell have cell membrane. In plant cell, it is embedded in between of the cell wall and the cytoplasm. In animal cell, it is the covering or the membrane-bound organelle that is supporting the cell from the outside environment. And in bacterial cell, it is covered by the cell wall and in between the capsule of the bacterial cell. So nasa gitna siya. So the structure of the cell membrane is composed of the following: the globular protein, the glycoprotein, the carbohydrate, glycolipid, cholesterol, the integral protein, peripheral protein, the channel protein, and the alpha helix protein. What are these color yellow that are seen? Okay? And yung mga strand na black. This black and the color yellow strand or circle is what we call the phospholipid. And they are layered into two. So that is why the structure of the cell membrane is composed of phospholipid bilayer. And its phospholipid, this yellow one, is the phosphate head at yung dalawang strand are the fatty acid tail. So these are the different structure of the cell membrane. So what are the function of the cell membrane? The cell membrane separates the components of a cell from its environment surrounding the cell. So it separates the component, meaning to say it has inside and outside. So in animal cell, it separates the environment of all the organelles inside the cell from the outside structure. It serves as the gatekeeper of a cell and regulates the flow of materials into and out of the cell, meaning to say it is a selective permeable. So making it a selective permeable membrane. It chooses what comes in and goes out of the cell, and its substances has their own gateway, their own pathway or the vessel for them to come in and go out of the cell. The cell membrane also helps the cell maintain homeostasis, and that is equilibrium. Homeostasis is the ability of the cell to maintain stable internal balance. That is also what we term as equilibrium. So it maintains the cell inside and out environment to maintain its normal state or the balance. Let's compare or let's talk about cell membrane and homeostasis. You can see here a perfect environment, okay? Isang puno, tapos merong plain or merong bulubundukin na area, color green. It's like everything is because about the nature. So, merong homeostasis. Lahat ng mga living organism that are in this area are perfectly living in equilibrium. So, ganyan po ang gustong ipakita at gawin na trabaho ng cell membrane. It should maintain homeostasis. Okay? The cell membrane is responsible for maintaining homeostasis within the cell. Remember, inside the cell, there are different structure and its structure are doing their function or activities and merong mga pumapasok at lumalabas na mga substances or ions at lumalabas at the same time. And these substances or ions or particles should be maintaining their normal state by having yung average value ng volume ng mga particles na yun inside and outside the cell, even the exchange of gases, of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay? Homeostasis is stable internal environment. Stable. Walang imbalance, walang disequilibrium. The cell membrane maintains homeostasis throughout balancing the pH, the power of hydrogen, temperature, glucose or the sugar intake, and the water balance. It does this through active and passive transport. So dito pumapasok yung transport mechanism, process, or activities ng cell membrane. So when it comes to pH or the power of hydrogen and homeostasis, our body should always maintain homeostasis, sabi natin kanina. So dapat neutral, equilibrium, balance, equal, inside and outside of the cell. So there are this pH, the pH of a solution tells how acidic or basic it is. So pH ranges from a scale of 0 to 14, wherein solution with a pH from 0 to 6 are acidic. Solution with a pH of 8 to 10 are basic, and solution with pH of 7 are neutral. So tayo po, our system should always maintain the pH level of 7 to maintain the homeostasis inside our system or our body. If a solution's pH is unbalanced, it is corrected with a buffer. Parang meron kang antidote. So you have to maintain it. Kadalasan, we usually maintain it through drinking water. So I want you to give, so these are some examples of solution or product that contains basic, acidic, or neutral solution. So when we make an orange juice, we will know that its pH level is 2. Gastric juices in our stomach with a pH of 1 and tap water with a pH of 7. Sodium hydroxide with a pH of 10 and ammonia with a pH of 14. So alin po dito ang acidic? Sabi natin kanina, acidic is from 0 to 6. So therefore, we have orange juice and gastric juices that are under ng acidic because they are 1 or 2. Base naman, or the basic, we have the sodium hydroxide, which is for 10, and ammonia is 14. So yun ang base. Therefore, the only neutral, o yung nagtataglay ng neutral pH, is 7. Cell membrane is also known as the phospholipid bilayer, wherein all cells have a cell membrane made of phosphate, proteins, and lipids. So this is the main composition of the cell membrane. That is why it's called the phospholipid bilayer. So in this structure or illustration, we have the phosphate head and the fatty acid tail. They are layered. And since they are two-layer, kaya tinawag silang bilayer. Phosphate, yung head, fatty acid, yung tail. Phospholipid bilayer. And in between of this phospholipid, there is a protein channel which serve as a pathway or vessel of protein that are considered macromolecules. We have also a protein pump. Dito pumapasok yung sodium-potassium pump. Pagpasok, para silang seesaw. Okay? Meron silang alternating activity or process of going in and out of the cell. So remember, sodium is containing salt and also potassium. They are very important in maintaining the cell membrane or the body's homeostasis, because any imbalance created by this imbalance will lead to a specific condition. All cells have a cell membrane or the plasma membrane. The eukaryotes have a cell wall plus cell membrane. At sa gitna pa niya, sa loob pa niya, meron pa siyang capsule. Wherein eukaryotes such as animal and plant cell, in animal, cell membrane only, and then cytoplasm na. Whereas plant cell, it has cell membrane, meron siyang cell wall, cell membrane, and then cytoplasm. So naka-in between the cell membrane in plant cell. This is the main composition of the cell membrane, or one part of the cell membrane, which is the phospholipid bilayer. Okay, we have the head, which is what we call the hydrophilic head or the phosphate head, and the hydrophobic tails or the fatty acid tails. Hydrophilic because it attracts water, so yung head yon. Hydrophobic because it repels water, so takot siya, phobia. Meron siyang phobia sa tubig. It's a double layer or bilayer of phosphate and fats or lipids. A single phospholipid has hydrophilic or water-loving or attracts the water, which is the phosphate head, and hydrophobic, the water-hating or it repels the water, and that is the fatty acid tails. The cell membrane both repels and attracts water through the membrane at the same time. So, meron siyang part na nag-absorb or nag-attract ng tubig, pero meron siyang part na nire-repel or takot siya sa tubig. Okay. So, this one is that this area or this part is the one that is water-loving, and these tails are the water-hating. So, how membrane transport acts in the cell membrane? So, sabi natin, the plasma membrane regulates movement into and out of the cell. That's why it is considered as a selective permeable. So, we have here some structure wherein ito na, nagsastart na yung transport mechanism. Regulation of the movement in and out of the cell ng mga molecules, particles, substances, including water, sugar, salt, amino acid, and the likes. So we have here, okay, so we have the phosphate head, fatty acid tail. So the head is considered polar head. They are polar kasi they attracts water. Whereas fatty acid tails are considered non-polar because they expel or they do not attract water. They do not like water. And this part, this one, is a protein. This is actually a integral protein. Okay. So isa siyang daanan or vessel ng mga protina. Remember, protein is a macromolecule. So it cannot easily pass through dito sa mga interstitial spaces ng mga phospholipid bilayer. So the interstitial fluid outside of the cell, this one, this is the outside of the cell, the environment outside of the cell. So ito yung pinoprotektahan na makapasok ni cell membrane. And this is the cytoplasm, the cytosol itself, which is the inner part of the cell. So dito, nagkakaroon ng mga substances inside and outside. May tubig, may ions, may gas, etc. etc. So let's go to the different types of transport mechanism. We have mediated transport is classified into two categories. So we have the passive mediated transport or the facilitated diffusion and the active transport. So basically we have two, active and passive transport. A passive transport is a process of specific molecules flows from high concentration to lower concentration. Kaya lang, yung iba, particles or substance, yung iba naman, water. But they are transported passive. Whereas, pag sinabi nating active transport, it is a type of process wherein a specific molecule is transported from low concentration to higher concentration. That is against the concentration gradient. Remember, sabi natin kanina, concentration gradient is particles are moving from higher concentration to lower concentration. Eh dito, inactive, kinokontra niya. Kumbaga sa traffic, it counterflows. Pabaliktad siya from lower to higher. Okay? So let's see here. We have an example. Number one, ito yung tinatawag, isa itong example ng active transport. Pag active transport, meron siyang ATP. And we all know that ATP is an energy that is produced by the mitochondria. Therefore, pag sinabing active transport, it requires the presence of energy or ATP. So in this illustration, from lower to higher. Okay, so kailangan niya ng energy para ma-facilitate yung movement ng mga molecules papasok at palabas ng cell. So lower to higher, that is active transport. Versus yung 2 dito naman, so there are some particles or movement of ions that can easily go in and out of the cell because they are very small. So ang tawag po natin doon is passive transport. Parang kagaya ng oxygen at saka carbon dioxide, they can easily pass dito sa mga interstitial spaces ng mga phospholipid bilayer. Kasi nga, masyado silang maliit. Even tayo, ang humihinga tayo ngayon, we cannot see the oxygen. We cannot even see the carbon dioxide that comes inside our system pagpasok sa nose natin, paglabas sa mouth natin, or saan sa parte ng katawan natin. We cannot see them because they are very small. That's why they can easily enter and go out of the cell. So they undergo passive transport. Whereas number 3 naman, diffusion. Diffusion is from greater concentration to lower concentration. So again, pag passive, dahil malalaking yung mga molecules, they can easily come in of the cell, inside the cell. Whereas yung facilitated naman, pwede yung sa diffusion, sa mga interstitial spaces, then or dun sa mga part ng phospholipid bilayer. They can enter them because, again, they are very small. Hindi kailangan ng ATP, hindi kailangan ng energy. Facilitated diffusion is another type of passive transport wherein meron siyang daanan. Although they are very small, they still have their vessel or pathway. Their transport area. Okay? Kumbaga meron silang sasakyan para makapasok or meron silang uh, daan to enter. And these molecules are from higher again to lower concentration. Okay, so that is the difference between passive and active transport. Let's go to the different types of passive transport. Passive transport is a movement of ions and molecules across the cell membrane without requiring oxygen. Kasi sabi natin kanina, because these molecules that pass through the cell membrane are very small, they are very tiny, that the cell or the cell membrane can let them in na walang selection. Okay? So, like for example, this one, so kung ito yung outside of the cell in this area, this is the inside of the cell, this is the plasma membrane, these molecules or ions can even pass doon sa mga spaces in between ng mga phospholipid bilayer. So, anong mga example natin dyan? Maganda sabi ko kanina, oxygen, carbon dioxide, okay? Huminga tayo, hindi naman tayo nahihirapan. Unless otherwise, mahirapan kang huminga kung may condition na, like asthma, may TB, and so on and so forth. Pero kung wala, madali lang. Walang difficulty. So this is an example of simple diffusion. The next one is the facilitated diffusion, another type of passive transport. O, nakikita natin, meron siyang daanan yung molecule. Okay. Hindi sila pwedeng dumaan dito, but they have to be facilitated or assist by a mechanism or transport or vessel. This one naman, they are transported, another type of, another example ng facilitated diffusion through specific transport. So kung water lang yan or amino acid dyan dadaan dahil sobrang maliit, dyan lang siya dadaan. Kung glucose, dito lang dadaan si glucose. So they have a specific vessel or passageway to enter and go out of the cell. Osmosis naman, again, itong tatlong to, we are pertaining to different ions and substances or solute particles. The fourth one is the osmosis. Osmosis is through the lipid bilayer and an aquaporin dun sa right. So, ito yung aquaporin. Dito yung phospholipid bilayer, yung lipid bilayer. Okay? So, ang pinag-uusapan pag osmosis, tubig. The concentration of the water inside and outside of the cell. Pag itong diffusion, particles or substances or ion. Osmosis is water. So, those are the four types of passive transport. Okay? Ayan. So, passive and active transport. Passive transport do not require energy. Active transport, they require energy. Yung energy na yon, that is ATP that is being produced by the mitochondria. Okay, how does passive transport mechanism illustrate? Ito yan. A process that does not require energy to move molecules from high to lower concentration. And again, sabi natin kanina, meron siyang ibang klase. So, diffusion, facilitated diffusion, kung saan it uses proteins to push particle across. So, gumagamit siya ng mga protein or mga particles ng amino acid and osmosis pertaining to the passage o concentration ng tubig. Next. So this is how the simple diffusion is being showed. Again, we have the interstitial fluid, we have the phospholipid bilayer, we have the integral protein, we have the cytosol or yung cytoplasm, at meron tayong mga tinatawag na non-polar region. So this is a simple diffusion, small non-polar solutes. So mga particles that are non-polar na pwedeng dumaan dito. So yun ang pwedeng dumaan dyan. Okay? Remember, non-polar, hindi siya nag-a-attract ng water. It repels water. Okay? So let's discuss about simple diffusion. Simple diffusion is the movement of particles from high to lower concentration without a protein. Okay? This is the area outside the cell and the area inside of the cell. So as you can see, merong mga red particles or substances outside, and this is the cell membrane. This is the lower concentration kasi wala pang mga particles. This is the higher concentration. Simple diffusion happens when these particles move across the cell membrane through the phospholipid bilayer. Para magkaroon ng equilibrium or homeostasis, this particle should have equal concentration outside and inside of the cell. But the mechanism of transportation is through simple diffusion. The kinetic movement of molecules or ions occurs through a membrane and continues until the molecules are evenly spaced o yung tinatawag na equilibrium or homeostasis. Molecules will still move around but stay spread out. They are moving around and they are spreading, nagdi-diffuse, di ba? Like for example, if I spray a certain perfume sa kwarto, so concentrated siya dun sa unang pag-spray. Pero as it spread out, as it diffuses sa environment, nagkakaroon ng equal concentration ng perfume fragrance. Smaller molecules such as glucose, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and amino acid can diffuse right through, like air, through a screen door. Okay? Hindi na kailangan ng, hindi sila nahihirapang pumasok o lumabas sa sistema. So, because they are very small. So, this one, ayan. So, we have carbon dioxide, oxygen, that can easily enter and go out of the cell. And dahil hindi sila, dumadaan sila sa mga fatty acid tail because they are not containing, they are not, the fatty acid tail is water hating. Next po, we go to the facilitated diffusion. So the facilitated diffusion, from the word itself, facilitate, so it requires the presence of protein molecules. Okay? Kumbaga, merong tumutulong dun sa mga particles or sa mga materials na pumasok para ma-facilitate yung kanilang entry or exit. So protein molecules in the cell membrane acts as carriers for certain materials, pero hindi lahat. Certain materials, meaning to say, pinipili din nila kung ano yung i-carry nila or tutulungan nilang makapasok or makalabas sa cell. Transport carrier proteins are specific. They select only certain molecules to cross the membrane. So dalawa po yan, transport carrier protein and the channel protein. Nakita natin yan kanina dun sa mga structure ng cell membrane. Next, so facilitated diffusion requires the help of carrier and channel protein, kaya facilitated or assisted, may assistance sila. These particles move from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. Lower concentration, the inside, higher outside. And pwede silang dumaan dito, pwede silang dumaan dito. Okay? Basta from higher to lower concentration, facilitated by a carrier or channel protein. So that is facilitated diffusion. Next. Okay. So this is facilitated diffusion illustration. So it has a small charge or polar solutes. So this is the membrane channel or yung pathway or daanan, which is a protein. So outside are the polar solute, okay, na kung saan dadaanan niya yan. So channel-mediated ions or small molecules move through a water-filled channel. So this is an atom, okay, and there are some protons and electrons that are embedded. So this is the protein channel that facilitate the entry of ions, mostly specific to one type of ion. So kung ano lang yung ion na yon, pwedeng dumaan dyan, yun lang ang papadaanin niya. Okay? So example natin dito na pwedeng dumaan is sodium. So sodium leak channel and sodium gated channel. So that is the facilitated. Another na molecule na pwedeng dumaan dyan is the glucose molecules. Okay? Carrier-mediated movement of small polar molecules across the membrane. So we have sodium, glucose, okay? And they are being facilitated by the carrier protein. And since they are small, so they tend to change. Yung mismong glucose or yung molecule ng glucose, i-change niya yung kanyang shape according to the membrane or according to the carrier protein. Okay. So, kung ano yung shape ng molecule, nag-change siya. Next, we have osmosis. So, osmosis is the diffusion of water across the cell membrane. Water. Kanina, diffusion is the concentration ng solute from higher to lower. Solute or particles or ions. Ito naman, pag sinabing osmosis, we are pertaining to the transport of water across the cell membrane. The direction of the movement of water depends on the amount of dissolved substances or solute concentration on the solution surrounding a cell. So, ibig sabihin, intracellular and extracellular may tamang concentration ng tubig, even sa loob ng cell. Okay? So, dapat merong yung concentration nila, they have to be equal to maintain homeostasis or equilibrium. So, how does this happen? So, the osmosis, ito yung osmosis na tinatawag natin, is the movement of water through a selectively permeable membrane like the cell membrane. Movement of water. Water moves across the cell membrane from an area of higher to lower concentration. So, kaya siya po ay under din ng uh, under siya ng passive transport. So, isa siyang klase ng passive transport. Okay? So, dapat, kung ito yung mga molecules na nakababad sa tubig, okay, dapat magkakaroon yan ng siselect nung selective permeable through the cell membrane, okay, from higher to lower concentration. So, this is a lower sugar concentration, pero mataas ang tubig concentration niya. Konti yung solute o yung sugar, pero marami ang tubig. Okay? So, again, tubig ang pinag-uusapan. Higher water concentration. Ito naman, higher ang sugar, pero lower ang concentration ng tubig. Okay? So, anong gagawin? So, itong selective permeability through the presence of the cell membrane will try to balance, maintain equilibrium. Semi-permeable membrane is permeable to water but not to sugar. So, yung sugar, may iwan, yung tubig ang magkakaroon ng movement. Okay. Base kung saan or alin dyan ang mas mababa ang concentration ng tubig. Dahil mataas ang concentration dito ng sugar, ang gagawin nito, dahil madami ang tubig dito, so lalagyan niya ng tubig yan para magkaroon ng balanse, maging neutral. Next po is Okay. So as you can see here, we have two different jar or isang jar lang yan pala, pero dalawa lang yung kanyang naging process. So in this solution or in this part, we have, these are semi-permeable membrane. Okay, ito yung nasa gitna yung color green. So this part, we have low solute concentration, yung solute, yung mga particles na red. Ito naman, high solute concentration, mas marami yung particles or solute. Ngayon, ang nangyari dito, para magkaroon ng equilibrium, there should be same concentration. Bakit konti ang tubig, mas marami ang tubig? Kasi nga, we are looking to the we are after dun sa concentration ng tubig. Konti yung particles, konti yung solute, so konti lang din ang tubig. Marami ang solute, dadagdagan ng tubig para magkaroon ng balanse. Okay? Dito, hindi siya balance, mas konti ang solute, mas marami ang tubig. Dito, mataas ang solute concentration kasi mas konti ang tubig. So, hindi siya balance. Pareho silang hindi balance. And to be able to maintain equilibrium, yung kabila, babawasan yung tubig, lalagay niya sa kabila. So, yung tubig, that is only, tamang-tama lang siya doon sa amount ng solute. So, dahil mas marami ang solute dito, yung ibang tubig dito, pupunta doon para magkaroon ng equal concentration, maging balance sila. So, yun po ang trabaho ng osmosis. Tubig ang kanyang nire-regulate or mini-maintain to achieve homeostasis. And there are three types of osmotic solution. We have hypertonic solution, contains a high concentration of solute relative to another solution, such as cell cytoplasm. When a cell is placed in hypertonic solution, the water diffuses out of the cell, causing the cell to shrivel. Shrivel or mag-shrink, liliit yung cell. Kasi yung solution doon sa labas ng cell ay mas mataas kaysa doon sa nasa loob. Okay? Kaya siya nasi-shrink. Mas mataas ang concentration ng tubig sa labas kaysa doon sa loob. Hypotonic naman contain a low concentration of solute relative to another solution. When a cell is placed in hypotonic solution, the water diffuses into the cell, causing the cell to swell. So, yung concentration ng tubig naman nandun sa loob, kaya nagsuswell. Mas mataas ang concentration sa loob ng cell, kaya nagsiswell or lumalaki, namamaga yung mga cell. So, this has something to do kapag tayo nagkakaroon. Example natin dito, mga dehydration, or kaya naman nagkakaroon ng pagmamanas or edema. So, nagsuswell yung mga cell. Kasi mataas ang tubig sa loob ng cell. At anong nagiging dahilan ng pagiging mataas ng tubig? Of course, matami kang kinakain na maalat, mataas ang sodium mo sa katawan, tapos ang kidney mo are unable to function properly, so nagkakaroon ng pagmamanas. Okay? And usually, pagmamanas, nandyan sa baba, sa lower extremity, especially kung lagi ka nakatuyo. Minsan pati kamay, yung iba pati mukha, yung iba, even yung mga organs nagkakaroon ng pamamaga because of tubig. Kasi yung cell nila, not only the cell but also the interstitial spaces ng system or systemic circulation, meron na ring mga cell. So, lumalabas yung tubig. Okay? Sa sobrang, dami ng tubig. Yung ibang mga organs, nalulunod. Like the heart, like the lungs, so nagkakaroon ng difficulty of breathing, tapos nagkakaroon ng mas grabing situation or condition. Isotonic solution contains the same concentration of solute as another solution. So example is the cell cytoplasm again. When a cell is placed in a isotonic solution, the water diffuses into and out of the cell at the same time. The fluid that surrounds the body cells is isotonic. So, meaning to say the concentration inside and outside the cell ng tubig ay pareho. So, that is the term for isotonic solution. Next po, so ito yung natin, mas maliwanag na picture natin ng hypertonic. Hypertonic, the water or solution outside of the cell is saltier. Yung araw lumipat na. Mas mataas outside than the inside of the cell. That is why nagsishrink ang cell. Okay? more or above, such as pouring salt on a slug will cause it to shrink. So, kung dadagdagan mo yung tubig, yung asin dun sa tubig at maglalagay ka ng maglalagay ka ng gummy bear, okay, pwede siyang mag-shrink kasi mas mataas yung solution ng asin dun sa tubig sa labas ng cell. Whereas, hypertonic naman, mas mataas mas mababa sa outside, mas mataas sa loob. Baliktad. So, causing it to swell or mamaga. Pero pag isotonic, equal. Both inside and outside of the cell, the concentration of water is just the same. So, let's go to comparison between animal cell and plant cell. So, in animal cell, or particularly dito, ang sample natin dito is red blood cells. So, kung mataas ang concentration ng tubig sa labas ng cell, the RBC or the red blood cells will shrink. Okay? Kasi mataas ang concentration ng tubig kesa dun sa loob. Isotonic, sa labas at loob, they are equal. Pareho yung tubig, ang dami ng tubig, they are equal. So, here's what we call isotonic. Ito naman, mas marami ang tubig or mataas ang concentration ng tubig sa loob ng cell, kaya sila ay namamaga. Dito naman, sa plant cell naman, iba naman ang term natin. Okay? Pero pareho lang yung effect niya. Dito, hypertonic. Sa plant naman, this is plasmolysed or plasmolysis. Okay? Nagsishrink ang loob ng cell. Tingnan niyo, lumiliit siya. Okay? This is the vacuole. The vacuole is being constricted or it shrink. Isotonic, ang tawag po natin in plant cell is flaccid. The concentration of water in the vacuole and outside of the cell is just the same. In plant cell, sa hypotonic naman, tawag natin sa plant cell is turgid or turgid. Wherein, mas mataas ang concentration ng tubig sa loob ng vacuole kaysa dun sa outside. Kaya namamaga or lumalaki ang cell. So in plants and in animal cell, hypertonic, isotonic, hypotonic. In plant cell, plasmolysis, flaccid, and turgid. Yan. Okay. Another illustration lang po. So let's compare this diffusion and osmosis. Number one, pag pinag-uusapan ng diffusion, we are pertaining to solute plus solvent. Pag osmosis, solvent lang, water lang. Movement of solution of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration. So at mataas ang concentration dito sa part na to, pero pag nag-spread na siya, yan, magkakaroon ng equal concentration. Dito naman sa water, solute ito sa diffusion. Sa water naman or osmosis, tubig. Konti ang solute, mas marami ang tubig, mas maraming solute, konti ang tubig. So therefore, ang gagawin niya, to make it equal, dahil konti ang solute dito, konting tubig din. Marami ang solute, so mas maraming tubig. So that is the difference between the two, solute and water. So what happens? Anong nangyayari? Ito yung sa passive. So this is the membrane. So the osmosis, passive movement of water through selective permeable membrane, tubig. Permeable membrane, ayan siya. Okay, meron siyang membrane. Okay, kasi itong part na to, hindi po yan, this is water repelling. It hates the water. So hindi siya makakadaan dito, kaya dadaan siya sa membrane. Okay. Papunta sa cytosol para magkaroon ng equal concentration. Excuse me. Okay. So dito, as you can see, there are 3% solute and 90% water. Dito, 1% solute, 99% of water. So para magkaroon ng equal concentration, kailangan may pumasok through the membrane na mga tubig or mga solute para magkaroon ng equal concentration. So hindi sila masyadong malayo. Next, we have another form po ng ating diffusion, ay ng passive transport is filtration. So, ito yung actually, itong tatlong to, or itong mga sa active transport and passive transport, ito yung makikita ko dapat doon sa inyong um, PT, dun sa cell membrane. Okay, kung alin yung ginamit ninyong process. So, we have filtration, the process in which solid particles in a liquid or gaseous fluid are removed by the use of a filter medium that permits the fluid to pass through but retains the solid particles. So, parang meron siyang strainer. Okay? Nire-remove niya yung mga, or na pinifilter niya, yung medyo yung hindi makakapasok o yung mas malalaking mga molecules. Okay? Tapos, nahayaan niyang makapasok yung mga pwedeng pumasok na mas maliliit na mga particles. Solid particles in a liquid or gaseous fluid are removed by the use of filter. Meron siyang filter machine or filter medium. Ang example natin dito are dialysis machine or yung mga filtration machine sa mga water refilling station. Okay? Kung halimbawa, yung tubig, galing tubig dagat, so, para maging edible or makain, para maging potable yung tubig na inom natin, gagamit sila ng filtration process or filtering machine para maalis yung mga molecules that gives the water yung taste na salt or salty. So those are the liquid or gaseous particles that are being removed para maiwan si tubig. So that is filtration. Sa kidney naman natin, in terms of filtration, kidney and our liver are filtering organ that filters yung mga dumi. Okay, para yung tubig lang at yung konting concentration ng sodium ang nandyan. So sodium should not be higher inside our system because it will affect our kidney, affecting other organs as well. Okay, so ganito po yung ano niya. So the three major processes, so ito yung urine, meron tayong glomerular filtration, tribunal reabsorption, and tubular secretion. So ito yung nangyayari sa ating kidney, this process. So feed, papasok yung pagkain, papasok yung molecules, substances, i-filter ng mga neurons, kung kidney ang pinag-uusapan natin. Kaso nga lang, pag masyado sa dinami-dami or sa tinagal-tagal na ganyan ginagawa mo, na-abuse yung kidney, so saan napupunta yung mga na-filter, nandyan lang naka-embed. They tend to cement or nagkakaroon ng sedimentation, tumitigas yung parte kung saan nandun yung precipitate until such time hindi nakakayanin ng kidney, nagko-collapse si kidney or tumitigas or nasisira. Okay. So basically, I'm not going to discuss this kasi sa kidney na to, no? So this is the basic process na ginagawa ng kidney natin sa pag-filter ng mga dumi sa ating system. Next, we go to active transport. So natapos tayo sa passive transport. We have diffusion, simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, osmosis, and filtration. So those are 4 types of passive transport. We have active transport now, wherein it is the movement of substance against its concentration gradient, which is low to higher concentration. It is an endergonic process that in most cases is coupled to the hydrolysis of ATP. Okay? There are 2 types of active transport. We have the primary active transport and the secondary active transport. So what is active transport? Requires energy, o yung tinatawag nating ATP, as molecules must be pumped against the concentration gradient. Kumbaga nagka-counterflow siya, kina-counteract niya. Okay, yung dapat na flow or mechanism. Kaya nga lang, dahil active transport siya, so it requires energy kasi nagka-counterflow siya. Kung nangangailangan siya ng ATP. Proteins that work as pump are called protein pumps. Example, body cells must pump carbon dioxide out into the surrounding blood vessels to be carried to the lungs for exhalation. Blood vessels are high in carbon dioxide compared to the cells, so energy is required to move the carbon dioxide across the cell membrane from low to higher concentration. So kailangan hindi po kapag ang carbon dioxide mataas sa ating system, nagkakaroon ng tachycardia, minsan yung iba talagang ano sila, 'di ba? Nagkakaroon ng ah, mabilis yung paghinga. Okay? So dapat again yung ano niyan equal lang. So dito pinapakita natin that outside of the cell mataas ang carbon dioxide molecule. Inside of the cell mas konti. So again, ang nangyayari po dito from lower to higher. Okay? Kailangan ilabas niya palabas. Kaso lang minsan nagkakaroon ng difficulty. So kailangan ng ATP. Kailangan i-pump against the concentration gradient. Primary active transport is also known as direct active transport. Directly uses energy to transport molecules across a membrane. Example po natin dito is the sodium-potassium pump which helps to maintain a cell potential. So we have the sodium and potassium. So dapat, and in this, kasi yung pag ano nito, para siyang siso. Papasok, tapos sasara, lalabas, papasok ulit, sasara. Open and close siya, para siyang siso. That's why, meron siyang daanan. At the same time, merong rhythm yung kanyang pagpasok. Kaya sabi ko, it's like a seesaw. Open and close ang kanyang movement. So that is the sodium-potassium pump. This is the cytoplasm that contains sodium. Tingnan mo, konti yung mga sodium and marami yung potassium. Ito naman, marami ang sodium, konti ang potassium. So there is a membrane, okay, through a facilitated membrane area or vessel, okay, pinapacilitate niya yung movement ng mga molecules. At ang ano nito, tendency nito, kung ano ang shape ng molecules, doon ang nag-change yung membrane protein membrane, yung daanan, yung channel. So this is ayan, yung concentration should always be equal. Pero, dahil nga meron siyang open and close, so energy is required. Ayan yung ATP, this one. It tries to, pag mag-open siya at mag-close, merong movement. So it tends to facilitate the movement of the membrane. Secondary transport naman, active transport, also called as co-transport, also uses energy to transport molecules across the membrane. However, in contrast to primary active transport, there is no direct coupling of ATP. So wala siyang, kung dito sa una, ayan, nandyan si ATP, okay, kinokouple niya yung membrane para makapasok at makalabas yung solute or yung particles. Dito naman, wala siyang direct na, wala siyang presence of coupling. Okay? Instead of electrochemical potential difference created by pumping ions out of the cell. Ito siya. This is the potential, electrochemical potential. So this is the cell membrane, the sodium, and meron tayong amino acid through the presence of this chemical potential. So, again, wala po siyang ATP pero merong nagpa-facilitate dun sa passage. Okay. Up and down, up and down. So, this is how it is being shown, yung active processes which require cellular energy. Two types niya is active transport and vesicular transport. So, active transport, movement of solute against concentration gradient from lower to higher concentration. Instead na from higher to lower, the concentration movement is from lower to higher. Counteract. Nagka-counterflow siya. Vesicle transport, transport by vesicle. And we have different types of vesicle. We have the transport vesicle and secretion vesicle. Ayan. So, active transport, primary active transport, ion pump. This one, the color green is the ion pump. And, ayan po, this is the sodium-potassium pump which requires cellular energy or the ATP. Kinokouple niya yung membrane para magkaroon ng facilitate, para ma-facilitate yung transport or pag-move ng sodium outside of the cell. And of course, what else? Ayan, secondary active transport. This is the illustration. Substances move against its concentration gradient by the movement of a second substance down its concentration gradient. So, again, it requires energy. Okay? Kumbaga, ang ginagawa nito, pinababaan niya yung concentration by the movement of a second substance down its concentration gradient. Dito, masyado siyang concentrated to the presence of the energy or ATP, medyo nagkaroon ng pagbaliktad ng process. Tag dito, nag-counterflow. So, dito high to lower, ito naman low to higher. Tapos, that is facilitated by the presence of ATP. Ayan. So, those are just illustration. So, meron kang hydrogen, may sodium, that is, meron kang antiporter. So, this is under po ng secondary active transport. Yung pagta-transport ng mga molecules, ng mga substances, again, that requires energy na dumadaan sa cell membrane. So, this is the analogy of the passive transport and the active transport. It's like going downhill or pag-akyat, pagbaba ng hagdanan, pwede rin. Okay? Na pag aakyat ka ng hagdanan, medyo yung mga muscles natin nagko-contract talaga ng medyo may energy na kailangan. Pero kapag bababa, mabilis. Minsan patakbo pa tayong bumababa sa hagdanan. Okay. No energy needed sa passive transport. Ano yung mga passive transport example natin? Diffusion, osmosis, facilitated diffusion, or yung simple diffusion. Passive transport, these are passive transport that are going downhill, pababa, from higher to lower concentration. Active transport, like going uphill or paakyat, so it requires energy, therefore it requires ATP. Finally, we have the bulk transport. Bulk transport is a form of or kind of active transport. Okay. Take in and out of the cell. So we have two types. We have types of bulk transport. Ito yung endocytosis at exocytosis. So endocytosis, meron siyang tatlong klase. We have the phagocytosis or the cell eating. Phagocytes, if you still remember lysosome, takes in the solid particles or foreign bodies inside the cell at doon niya sa loob ng kanyang system tutunawin. So that is cell eating. Pinocytosis is cell drinking, takes in the fluid or takes in fluid with solid particles such as food. Okay, cell drinking. And the receptor-mediated endocytosis cell has receptor attached to the specific molecule. So by shape, the receptor takes in the particles in the cell. So, ano tong mga to? So, the exocytosis naman, in contrary to the endocytosis, cell export nilalabas. Kung ang endocytosis pinapasok, iniinom or kinakain, okay, ito naman, tinatapon niya palabas. Like for example, yung protein or yung lipids at saka yung protein galing sa loob ng cell, na dala-dala ni secretion vesicle papunta kay cell membrane. Nung una, nung nasa loob siya, sinubo niya. And then, or pinasok niya dun sa mga membrane, dumaan sa membrane. And then, eventually, it throws out outside the cell. So, that is exocytosis. Yung vesicle na dala-dala niya si protein, nilabas ni cell membrane palabas. And that is being exported to the different parts of the body. It creates invagination to release materials outside of the cell. So, ayan, yung vesicle transport. Transport of larger molecules or substances by membranous sac or vesicle. Yung tinasabi nating secretion vesicle, such as yung pag-transport ng protein and carbon dioxide outside of the cell. So again, there are two types of bulk transport. We have the exocytosis and the endocytosis. Exocytosis from outside of the cell to interstitial fluid. Ayan. So we have these are just some picture or illustration. Okay. So all you have to do is to read them and understand them, although i-discuss naman na natin yan. So, three forms ng endocytosis: phagocytosis, pinocytosis, and receptor-mediated endocytosis. Phagocytosis, this vesicle fuses with a lysosome. Okay. Ayan, pumasok si vesicle, papunta kay lysosome. So, that is phagocytosis. This one naman is pinocytosis, solute, interstitial fluid, so that's cell drinking. Ito naman, this receptor-mediated endocytosis, meron siyang Y-shape na receptor. Okay? So, pinapacilitate niya yung movement. Ayan po. So, kasama niya, kumbaga nakadikit siya kay Y-shape na vesicle, yung mga substances papasok doon sa loob ng cell. Okay, so those are just illustration. That ends our discussion or our presentation for transport mechanism. I hope you will be able to understand everything that we have discussed. So if ever na meron kayong